Sure.
Recording?
Yep, we're recording.
All right, hello, welcome to Clackamas County Developmental Disability Council meeting for September 23rd, 2024. Looks like we have quorum. Am I reading that right, Amy?
Yes, we have one.
All right, well, calling to order on this lovely meeting, and would like to probably get approval of meeting minutes for 2024. Sorry about that. Do I hear any objections of the meeting minutes of last session of that date? Okay, I hear no objections. It's been approved as oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the name, as presented. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. It's been a long morning.
Yeah.
Anyhow, all right, glad to see you guys. I hope you're doing well. It looks like we have a couple of guests over here. I don't know if they want to speak so the camera can get there. We got some new technology on phase 2 of the media upgrades, which I'm very happy with. Next time we'll have direct sound, hopefully another 20 years of integrated media. And I enjoy being with you guys, and thank you very much. The guests here, would you like to introduce yourself before public testimony time?
Hello, my name is Brandon Miller. I'm a college student. I'm in a public policy class, and I'm here to get experience on everything.
You might have, you met on public record, what college, or would you like to talk about that later?
Georgetown University.
Okay, all
My name's Melinda Geist, and I am just here to observe.
right, okay.
Welcome.
Yeah, was curious, knew he was coming and thought, I think I'll join you.
Okay, well, that makes sense. Are you doing any policies on disabilities or just in general?
Just general, but I chose this event specifically.
Awesome. Interesting, gonna see the white papers and beyond.
We have a visitor on screen also.
All right, we do have a visitor on screen today. Who would that be? I'm sorry,
That
I'm
would
not.
be Jen.
Jen. Jen, would you like to introduce yourself outside of public record in ways, just say hello?
Hi, I'm Jen Giovanetti. I work over at the Oregon City Public Library, and part of what I do at the library is facilitate programming for adults with disabilities.
Wonderful. Nice to have you, Jen.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for coming. Do you want us to introduce ourselves in a way, or would you want to see what to do next? I'm willing to do start introductions, but is that where we want to go, or do we have
We could
to?
probably do a quick introduction.
We would like to start in the Zoom link.
I'll
Anyone
start.
else? All right, Sarah Lambert.
Hello to all of our visitors. My name is Sarah Lambert. I am an adult foster care provider for over 24 years here in Clackamas County, and I am co-chair on this council. I am so excited to see all of our visitors today, so thank you for being here.
Else want to raise their hand on it, or do you want to go
I
let
can go next. You want, Colleen Johnston. My son is an IDD, so parent, I guess, family representative. And Jen, I came and gave you guys a presentation on recycling, if you remember.
Yes, thank you. It was awesome. We were just talking about it today in one of our programs.
Very good. All right, Sasha, I saw you on mute.
Hi, I'm Shasta Kernsmore. I have identical twins who both qualify for duty services, and happy to see folks here, and looking forward to the conversation.
Okay, I'll go. My name is Sarah Schwartz, and Jen, I'm going to be contacting you. I just wrote down your name and what you do. So I have a 21-year-old who has IDD, and she and I are navigating the world of post-transition at this time. So looking for lots and lots of fun things to do, and welcome to our guests.
My name is John Merrick Russell, for the record, John Russell, self-advocate for disabilities, self-advocate. I am someone who took services much later in life in ways of different other aspects of that type of critique in life. definitely around CDRC and other aspects where I was treated as a peer rather than just the subject. So anyhow, we'll
Let's
see
get
how that
Mimi.
goes.
Mimi's on.
We got Mimi here.
Yep.
Hi, I'm Mimi. I am Clackamas County DD provider for the last 15 years. And welcome our guests. Jane, I have been in Oregon City Library too, and I have residents who frequently visit. So it's a nice environment. So thank you.
Okay, fantastic. Do we have a time check right now? 41?
Mhm.
All right, I'm gonna go
We
to,
introduce ourselves.
no, I guess we should.
Well, just because we're sitting in the room with people we haven't
And
met.
you too. And you too. Thank
Okay.
you for the reminder, Stacy.
Okay, all
Right,
right.
none time.
Hi, everyone. I'm Stacy Mullins. I'm one of the program managers for the DD program. Welcome. It's nice to see all the new faces. Go ahead, Brooke.
And I'm Brooke Gelfand. I'm one of the program, or I'm one of the supervisors over the residential team. So anyways, Amy.
Hi guys, Amy Butler. I'm also with Clackamas County. I am the DD Advisory Council liaison. And I'm gonna try to look, and the camera's in the owl, but we see you guys on the screen, so
yeah.
keep on seeing the back of my head. I'm gonna try to remember to look at the owl, but anyway.
Lisa's in the waiting room too.
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
good, thank you.
Anyway, so nice to have our regular members and our guests here today. Awesome.
So just wanted to make sure that the council knows that we do have re-elections coming up next month. And I wanted to make sure that that it's on a schedule for next month in ways of considerations and other aspects. I would ask, for me, I'm raising my hand, and I would ask the chair and co-chair if I can make an explanation of vote for the mission statement that was made.
Should we say who the re-election is for next month, just so we have an
I
idea?
didn't say Mimi and Lisa, did I?
Okay, I didn't hear it. Maybe you did.
Yeah, I may.
Sorry.
So anyhow, I was gonna ask about the mission statement and stuff like that. I'm getting a lot of feedback on that. And why are not self-advocates involved in the mission statement and position statements and other statements along that? I'm not getting killed on it, thank goodness, but still, I think it is a good way to at least talk to the public in ways that are out there. And why I chose the language I did and how I move forward with that, hopefully with that in Clackamas County. For me, the win was when the advisor came in, the Clackamas County manager came in, and she mentioned about outreach and how we can use that as a springboard to get self-advocates involved, or certain aspects. I will take advantage of that next month, or not next month, but this year, in ways to try to connect with self-advocates, so we have their voices be heard between other people's voices that want to be into the council to other aspects of life. When relevant professionals and stuff like that, people want to become the relevant professional so quickly in life, there is deep conflicts and different issues that come up with that in ways of someone who has lived in experience. It's just like job coaching when a provider agency or provider wanted to be a relevant professional so quickly. Years later, it does play a harm and sometimes in people's lives as a client, because they do not realize the harm that they're trying to cause being a relevant professional today in ways. So that's something that I am worried about in the future if we don't use statements within a mission statement when we go through the next couple of months and with using self-advocates. So I will use more votes for self-advocates and motions. If they don't get second, they don't get second, but it is important for that voice to be heard. When you give an inch, another thing is a lot of people are not really given opportunities at the community partner level because they do not fit the mission statement. And the thing about the mission statement in ways of including self-advocates and stuff like that, I knew this place was not at that level yet to provide that vote in ways. I wanted to give people opportunity, but when you give an inch and they want to take the whole field, that is an issue that I will have within this type of context within the mission statement and beyond. People who are making policy cater to the highest level of needs. That does play a effect in people's lives. And I do worry about that and how we move forward within the mission statement and the bylaws in the future of that. But it's still important to give them opportunities to be at the table also. So that's one reason why I kind of you know, I try to explain to self-advocates who are asking me, why are we not at that next level? Within, you know, certain aspects, it is important to remind them. And then education opportunities for special ed students and self-advocates. When, you know, when others take advantage of, you know, those type of opportunities, education opportunities to learn about the whole system. I just need, I understand that the outreach part is a crucial and equity part of a mission statement is important to follow. So for me in Clackamas County, even though it may or may not look like that I push forward these movements, I know I have in other areas within how we move through county programs and how we move through the bylaws in the future. I stand down. Any other, I don't know, it's not a question thing, but it was an explanation of why I voted for the mission statement and how we can move forward services, give or take, you know, the level of that hand and experience. So I hope that explains it a little bit, but I've been fielding questions a little bit on it and why is county program different than other areas that I'm in? For me, I would love to be matching the DD Coalition, Oregon DD Coalition's mission statements and other aspects, but there is a place where others need a voice too. And I do try to do that, but once that you get that little inch, it does kind of overcome sometimes. And you're trying to get those opportunities where other opportunities, and you can only do what culture allows. So I appreciate this explanation of vote time on the mission statement, but I will call for votes for self-advocates in the bylaws, and, you know, and if whatever happens in the culture is, but for equity, North Star and other aspects of the department, I can only do so much for what we have today. So thank you. All right. All right, do we have any update on advisory council recruitment? So Amy, Sarah, and John.
I didn't know if the executive council wanted, I'm gonna keep on trying to look at the owl, sorry
No,
guys.
you're good.
I didn't know if the executive council wanted to give the updates or if you wanted me to, Sarah or John, I'm happy to give one. You guys can also give an update.
Well, right now, we're still in the decision-making process.
Oh, I passed along the decisions that we made during the last meeting
Okay.
to the Board of County Commissioners. So we chose 4 out of 5 applicants. And so, so that's pretty exciting. I don't know if you guys have any questions. I think one thing that I do want to mention is that the next time that we open recruitment, we are going to have to be, there's a couple of things that came up during the recruitment process this time. One of the things that we'll want to do is be really intentional about who we are looking for in the next rotation of applicants, because we did have one candidate who is really, really great, but we need to be really mindful about making sure that we have equal representation of, or at least a diverse representation of Clackamas County. And so, you know, we want to have different types of people who are part of the advisory council so that we are hearing from different experiences and cultures and all those things that make us all diverse. So that's one thing that we're going to want to pay attention to next time. And then the other thing, Lisa brought this up actually during the interview process, is when we are doing our questions, we're going to need to really think about what we want the answers to look like. So that would be another thing for us to consider when we move forward in the next rotation for bringing in new applicants. But for this one, we have 4 that should be coming in. Board of County Commissioners, I think we'll talk about that during their meeting next week. And then we should hear officially within the next month, I would imagine.
Okay.
So that is where we're at on
Yeah,
that.
I just think it's a disparity of voices at the table sometimes in ways that, you know, other opportunities were grown by other movements around. And so hopefully we'll get those voices in the next application process in ways of certain other aspects of, you know, perception or what we need for the future within Clackamas County. If it's another direction because of, you know, certain things, I've already put my personal, you know, belief in, but I do think it's important to have the variety. I mean, I'm someone older without, you know, that took services much later in life. You might need, a teenager, you might need a young adult. But I also am someone who believes that also there should not be two votes in one room. In ways of disparity and equity, in my own personal belief. Any questions on that, Sarah Lambert?
I just wanted to add that in our next recruitment, it would be really great if we could reach out to some rural communities and get, their experiences, their input. We don't have a lot of folks from, Malala, Malino, I think even Canby, Estacada, we did a lot of talking about that. And so I would love to see ideas around or even ways we could reach out to the rural communities and bring them in for the next recruitment. That was something we were lacking this time, so.
We actually have none from rural communities, so
Yeah.
that would definitely
Right.
be a place that we need to.
Do we have anyone from, I get we get providers, but do we have anyone from foster homes? Is that Mimi or is that, Sarah?
Both.
So we do
Right,
have,
yes.
we have one representative from that,
Two.
two representatives from the whole thing, okay. Well, okay, so two,
And actually,
and two in certain representation so far, and that I can count on outside, yeah. Okay, yeah, teenagers, young adults, kids. On certain aspects, self-advocates, give it, I'm the only self-advocate, but there may be someone coming in, so there'll be two adults there. And so, yeah, there should be probably, at least on my side of self-advocates, there should be at least 2 or 3 more.
Yeah.
At least.
And that's one thing we'll want to address when we go back to working on the bylaws, is that right now we have one advocate position in the council. We have 3 providers that we have allotted spots for. And the rest of the 18 are individuals and or their family members.
I'll put my personal stuff on the bylaws, conversation on the numbers, but I'm just trying to calculate it real roughly on representation and equity and, inclusion and stuff like that. So I think that's what direction we're seeing right now on reelection and, and certain other aspects of that. Mission statement, what was my comment, Amy, on that? Was it that we're gonna do it next month? Oh, the mission
think
statement,
that's-
I
that
did
was
do
me,
my
yeah.
mission statement, I'm
Yeah.
so sorry, guys. It's been a very
I
long
thought it was
day.
a pop quiz, John.
No, it's been a very long day, this is round 2.
It's Monday.
And now it's not just Monday, it's been a long day,
Did anybody have any questions?
thank you, Amy.
Regarding the advisory council recruitment?
No?
No.
Okay. Programs.
Actually, I had a quick question. Sorry, I wasn't quick enough with my unmute.
The library site, a public comment will come at the end.
Oh, okay, okay. Just wanted to know when recruitment happened. Sorry, thanks.
We're good, thank you very much.
Thank
I
you.
apologize for cutting you on that. Trying to follow the rules.
Okay.
Want me to know that.
Program updates?
A public update to Clackamas County, where we are versus what we're hearing at the station, other levels.
Well, I'll give you an update and then you can ask me questions if
That's
you
up
have
to
them.
my council.
It's been a long time since we've met, so I was trying to think of what kind of things have happened in the last several months. So so Brenda Durbin, our Director of Social Services, who came to one of our meetings not too long ago, has announced her retirement, so I thought I would share that. And her position is actively being recruited for as we speak right now. I believe her retirement date is early February. And so, and again, Brenda is the Director of Social Services, which oversees the DD program. She's my and Kim's direct supervisor. So that's in active recruitment right now. Let's see. We were just notified that it's time to do our audit. So, so we have our quality assurance audit. It's scheduled for the first week in November. But the whole month of October is us sort of prepping for this audit. So the state will be doing our audit the week of November 4th through 7th. They're doing our audit remotely with the exception of some personnel stuff. And they're looking at files from the audit period is July 1st, 2023 through August 1st, 2024. That's the period. of the files, the time frame when they pull a file that they'll audit. They will be pulling 28 files for our program to be reviewed. 25 will be Medicaid funded files, 3 will be general fund, and we will get the list of files being audited about 30 days in advance. So we're expecting that within, if not next week, the week after. So probably by the end of next week. We'll also get an additional list of files for an employment audit for people who receive employment services. I don't know exactly how, we haven't had a lot of details around the employment audit part yet. Once the state completes their audit, they will give us a report. They will develop a corrective action plan that we will work with them on, and we'll be able to share that out to the council as we get that information. But just wanted you all to know that the audit is starting in November. Many of us, including Amy Butler, will be working on this the entire month of October to get prepared for the November audit. Those are probably some of the big things right now. I did want to share one bit of good news, because I don't know that we share our good news enough, but the county has an employee recognition program where you can nominate staff monthly to receive a Spirit Award for somebody going above and beyond, things like that. And at the end of every year, they review all of the nominees they had throughout the year, and they select 10 county staff for the entire year to be honored for a Spirit of Excellence Award. This year is the first time we've ever had staff who received this honor, and we received three staff in our program, in the residential program, received awards, and they were recognized by the Board of County Commissioners for some really great work they did during a really difficult situation, where a residential and abuse sort of related situation, but they were recognized for their work, and that's the first time, and it's something that we this past month celebrated with our program, so I wanted to share it with the council. We have people out there doing really hard work all the time, and we don't always hear about it or get to talk about it, so I just wanted to share that as well. Any questions other than that, unless people have questions for me? Those are my updates this time around.
Any update on the research and other audits and ways of questions that's been over the last couple of months? Have there been any questions over the last couple of months that should be addressed also? For updates,
For our audit in particular?
not just the audit, but just in general of certain information that was looked for by our council members.
I'm not sure. The council would have to add, I'm not sure
Okay.
what that might be.
Just following up if the council has any, follow-up.
Oh,
questions
if they have follow-up questions,
Yeah.
yes,
In
okay.
ways that they
You're
asked for the
asking.
last 2 or 3 months
Okay,
for certain information.
anybody have questions for me?
I have a question for you. How, with the audit coming up, how is the county feeling? Are there ways that you feel that you could use more support? Are there areas, I know that's a hard question, I'm sure. Just in general, how are you feeling about this audit coming up?
I'm feeling about the same as the previous audits. However, yeah, there definitely are gonna be some things that come up. I mean, when I was filling out our personnel log, I realized since we were audited 2 years ago, we hired 36 new staff. So that's a lot of growth in terms of knowledge and skills. So I do think that we will see some training opportunities, things like that, from having new staff and coming out of a pandemic and going back to face-to-face requirements and things like that. I think we can expect to see some of that. That's what we're anticipating. All things that we've been talking about as a program and all things we have still been trying to address, but I think that's what we're anticipating,
Can I
Yeah.
add that when we say that we took on 35 staff since the last audit, just for perspective, we're about 100 staff big total. So when we say 35
Yes.
in the past 2 years, I mean, that's, 30% of our workforce. So
Yeah.
that's a huge growth period for us, just to give some context.
Thank you.
Lisa, you popped on video. Do you have a question or is that just popping on video?
She has a question.
No, well done.
With care.
Before my hand even went up, you're so good. I do have a question. I was just curious, those 35 positions, if we could get sort of like a general rundown of what those positions were that increased. I think I know, but I might be totally off base.
Yeah,
Okay,
they're
okay.
primary, I can tell you, I can open it up and look, but I can tell you primarily service coordinator positions.
Okay.
I can pull it up though and tell you. Give me just a second. Position.
While they're looking, I'm sure on Brenda Durbin's position, people will be advised on how to go on the hiring committee, or is that already been closed?
I think it's still, I don't think it closes till either the end of the, like the 30th, the end of the month for Brenda's position. Okay, I can tell you. 2 supervisors, 1 ONA assessor, 3 administrative staff, and the rest were service coordinators. 27 service coordinators.
Awesome, thanks.
Thank you. Anything, since I've been only advocating for about 4 years in ways of this lovely journey in life and how things, process through the county, just like foot bags and emergency packets and all. Is there any new concepts or anything new that's been popping up into the department that should be told to the council in ways of those, concepts becoming, RAC committees to then becoming ARs and ORS? Are there anything new in the department quite yet, going to in ways that should be an update? Just any
I don't
concept or
know,
anything?
do you know? I don't know, council members, do you know any rural advisory? Are you all on any rural advisory?
No, I just
committees?
want to get an update on anything new coming up in ways, in the last 4 years, in ways
Oh.
that might be just coming up in the last 5 months.
Hmm.
Knowing that,
I can't, I mean,
Okay.
I need time to think through that
All
in
right.
a little.
We'll
bit
get
more.
it.
Can you think of it? Were you thinking of
Maybe
anything?
we can put that on the next agenda.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Stuff.
Yeah, if there's
I would
something you
love,
want
I
me to
would, I would
research
love,
on
I
and
would
come
love,
back to talk
I would
about.
love that to come in the next couple of months, and even though we're off December.
Okay.
It would be nice to know what in the last 4 years, new
Oh my
programs,
gosh,
new
there's
things.
so many, well,
Just
there's
the-
always new, new policy and always,
Yeah.
but in terms
Just the
of new
top 3. How about
OAR,
the top 3
Yeah.
in the department's mind?
yeah, they're always revising OARs. Probably the newest OAR stuff is around the, children's,
Okay,
the CEN program, so,
okay,
yeah.
it'll be nice to have an update on the last 3 to 4 years.
3 to 4 years.
What's on the top
Okay, okay.
priority in ways of new stuff
Okay.
coming through that the
Let
county.
me make myself a
dependent.
note.
Appreciate support of
Okay.
council members. Mimi.
Yeah, I just have a question for Stacy, and for this case, there are case workers basically being hired, and what was the requirements? Is how about the experience, or what was their, are they college graduates, and have you seen changes in the county, like being addressed the issues that we have been having? These are the areas I want to ask you.
Our OARs have minimum requirements for a service coordinator position, and it's a certain amount of education or experience. Oftentimes our recruitments might have, extra minimum qualifications that are a little bit above and beyond what the OAR outlines. So I could pull those up. Most of our service coordinator recruitments have gone pretty standard. We've had quite a few applicants, qualified applicants. Where we are struggling is bilingual applicants, to be completely transparent and honest. I've had a bilingual ONA assessor recruitment running now, open till filled, for going on close to 70 days with no applicants. Well, 4 maybe applicants, and screening process. And so that's where we're really struggling, is our bilingual applicants. But our regular recruitments, seem to be going sort of kind of typical. I mean, it seems like Brooks run a couple recently. It seemed like we've had really good applicant pools. We've hired some really great people. So, but yeah, struggling with the bilingual recruitment right now.
And retaining bilingual staff. I mean, that's
Yeah.
another issue for another day.
It's one of our, focuses.
Stacy, is the county adding more employees? Is you're saying the recruitment process going, are you planning on adding more positions? And how, do you know how many more?
Right now, we're in recruitment. The only ones now that we're working on are the bilingual ONA assessor position, and we have bilingual children's service coordinators, 2 of them. So we're currently we have 3 of those vacancies. We have some temp positions, some opportunities to bring on some temps, and those are unique positions because they're not fully committed to the budget. They have to meet the same criteria as a service coordinator. They're not gonna get benefits until, but our idea was if we could bring some folks on and get them in the door, get them trained. We do have, we're a large enough program with turnover that we have vacancies regularly enough that if we could get temps on and trained, our hope is that they could move quicker and easier into full-time positions. And that's something that's like our latest approach. It's something we're trying, and we have
You
5.
Just start that, or
We just started it in like the last 3 months. It looks like we might be able.
Sorry to interrupt.
We have 5 vacancies, and right now it looks like we may have 1 potential person for a temp position, so.
Mimi, I think that were you the one that asked the question, or was that your question?
Sarah, that was Sarah.
Okay.
I did, yeah, no, thank you, Stacy.
Yeah.
And just to clarify, those are all Spanish speaking, the
The
SC
temps?
No,
All
the SC is
yes,
and the
they're
ONAs,
bilingual,
are all
Spanish,
bilingual
English,
Spanish.
yeah. And our temps are not,
Temps are not.
yeah.
And then Oregon City does, okay, good. Just trying to keep track on time and where we are and expanding that. Did Mimi ask the question? I'm sorry, I was interrupting.
No,
That was
she just
Sarah,
needed to
but
bring her
she
hand up.
lowered her hand.
Okay,
Yeah.
Mimi, you lowered your hand now? Okay, got it. How is the quality maintenance on the temporary position? So when people might have frustrations on temporary employees, they know at least they went through the trainings and went through the process as much as possible.
Oh, well,
You gotta try this new method.
Well, their expectation is same as a regular full-time hire, so we will support them in the same way we do anybody that's full-time regular. Train everything, they'll have all the same requirements, and preparing them to hopefully move into long-term positions to do the job, and maybe with a little bit more preparation and support.
Good.
So,
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, well, now at the drafted letter, ODDS regarding foster groups and home providers, do we have that letter at least at the state level or the county level? Sorry, any way to pull that up or remind me what that is and where we are on that?
Well, Shasta, I think Shasta wrote it. Shasta, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I'm kind of putting you on the spot. I'm sorry about that. Are you comfortable talking about what that letter was and kind of what the idea was for next steps? Are you okay doing that?
Yep. Let me call it up here.
I can also pull it up on my screen.
she just sent it in an email to a
Oh,
link,
okay,
the
great.
Google Doc link to folks too.
Yep,
Yeah,
so this came out of, I think it was our April meeting. Not exactly sure, but we had a presentation from the abuse investigator. And we kind of found out that there's no way for anybody in the public to know about substantiated cases of abuse at IDD facilities. And this was quite surprising because there is one for elder care homes, and we're not really sure why IDD homes was never included as part of that database. So this would be a letter to the Attorney General, who runs the Department of Justice, legislators, the governor, decision makers to say, hey, there's this oversight. Can we do something about it? So, my vision, which the council may or may not agree with, is to kind of take this around to other DD councils in the state and get kind of a sign on letter going, and see if we can, make some change.
I am worried about certain other council members getting that type of information without getting approved by their council. How is that being addressed in ways that they are not overheading their own council bylaws and rules?
So it sounds like you're concerned that other councils would get this letter before we've approved it.
They approved it. Meaning that they haven't even addressed the topic point and they're being approached with these topics without the approval on their own council. So I'm just trying to protect them so they're not breaking their bylaws, the local bylaws. Because I do think it would be a
Sure.
shame that if another council member got these types of concepts before they got approval of their own county advisory councils. Am I wrong on that? Can anybody just get anything and just talk about it as members of the council? And don't we have to have approval on concepts like this? We did give approval here, so I'm fine with the, with our letter.
Well-
But I do want to protect those who may be, not understanding where they're going.
You guys, meaning the council would have to vote on whether you wanted to include other councils, so I would imagine you would need to figure out which councils that you would want to present that to.
Okay.
I think the council membership is all public record, so if you decided as a council that you wanted to push this letter forward to other councils to have them sign, I think that's.
And I would imagine that the county laws of the other councils are the same way. I don't know.
Their bylaws might vary differently, but as long as you are moving forward, I mean, we can't really kind of, for lack of a better term, we can't police how they operate, but we can watch how we operate. And so for us, we would just need to make sure that everybody has voted and is agreeing to, I have somebody in the way is agreeing to move forward, and that you all are very clear on what that means. So, voting to, yes, we want to push this letter and share it with Washington County PD Advisory Council. Yes, we want to push this forward and move it to Multnomah County.
Chair, that was one of my main concerns. I will have an advocate question later on that. I did see Lisa Legend and Shasta Moenker's hands up a couple of seconds ago. Would you like to follow up, or was that just a momentary idea?
Go ahead, Shasta. My question got answered.
Looks like Sarah's waiting, but I just want to be clear that I haven't shared this letter with anybody. I shared it with the council, and the council agreed during the last meeting that we had that Sarah and I should draft such a letter, and all of our discussions are public record. So yes, I reached out to a member of the Washington DD Council on a completely different issue and let him know that we were working on something like this, which is public record. And he said he would be interested if we ever did pass a letter.
Awesome.
So,
thank you very much. Sarah Schwartz.
Yeah, that was my understanding, that I had no information that Shasta had shared it with anyone beyond this council. That was the plan, just to share it here and hopefully get approval, and then figure out the way to move forward, figure out the best way, except for Washington County that she had already talked to. I did want to thank Shasta, because I had said I would draft a letter and she got the ball rolling, and I think it's a great letter, and I really appreciate that she stepped in to take it over. I really appreciate that a lot, because it is very concerning to me, because I have a young person who will be living away from me within the next, 5 to 10 years. So I really is really worrisome to make sure that she's fully protected.
Yeah. On my side, I don't know if it fits my voice in ways of why I voted yes on it. And that's something that's a little bit concerning in some sense, because when I voted for it, I don't know where these providers are. And of course, the people's security is very important in ways of keeping them safe and everything. But I didn't, the context that I voted yes on for this investigation and this type of information is because when people are, making decisions to go to foster homes, there is no place to look for. And there's no even place to find self-advocates in ways of just the self-advocacy in general. So that's one reason why, and I didn't really find that voice within that draft in ways of that. It felt like, a review of foster homes and group homes. And sometimes as, when I'm going to committee meetings and certain things like that, kind of get confused on SEIU documents of foster home research and other legislative, directions like today at the Human Service or the Education Committee. It was very confusing when they talk about these reviews and, trying to find out more information about foster homes and what our priority direction was in ways of trying to figure out how to navigate that. So like I said, I wish it had more of a direction on, how we can find certain things and abuse in foster home places. But I also wish it was more in the way of the client, sometimes ideas in ways to try to find out rather than just the sides that, I hear certain directions in Salem take in aspects of that. As a county, I'm in Clackamas County. I need to know about Clackamas County foster homes and issues and abuse in situations like that. So the letter to me is fine to a point, but it also does not speak to what I was trying to go yes on that. And that's okay, because it was drafted and we did have our two people. But I do worry about the directions of knowing where it's gonna go and how it's gonna be disseminated, to different parts of the state in ways of their aspects within the Clackamas program, why we advise for Clackamas County. And that's something that I still am questioning on where this foster letter might be going. And that's something that I don't know if I can I don't have the draft in front of me, but I don't know if I can have an opinion on it. Because, it is another issue and where it goes, we don't have a direct, approval process on that.
I wanted to interject to John's question as far as finding adult foster homes. I can only speak on adult foster homes. There is a statewide vacancy list for families to look through when they are looking into a foster home. It wouldn't have any abuse information on there. It's just generally what size the home is, how many vacancies they have, what the foster provider can say what their skill bases are generally. If they're more medical supporting home, behavior supporting home, what it's like, what level of a home they are per care needs. I know that it's not super easy to access that database, but it is available. As an adult foster home, we are not allowed to advertise like APD homes do. So we cannot post a sign out with our business name in our front yard. Nobody knows we're a foster home when you drive by. We relied solely on service coordinators not service coordinators, but the county to place individuals into our homes. Individuals that have private pay versus Medicaid pay, it is possible you can have individuals reside in your home, but it's hard to find individuals like that because we don't advertise. So I know as far as, on the adult foster home side of things, that we are very different from APD. And then my concerns, I'm not familiar with the APD site that lists the abuse. I should probably get familiar with that to kind of compare and contrast and see exactly what we're asking for. I agree that if a home has abuse, I don't have a child, I am the adult foster provider, but I would want to know if I had a loved one going into services as well, just like anybody else. I 100% am on board with that. I just want to make sure that whatever we're asking for is going to be useful and it's going to actually contain the information that you need to see, and it's going to be easily accessed and things like that. So that's basically where I stand on it. And I was just hoping to give a little more input on how individuals would find an adult foster home versus APD.
Awesome. Sarah Schwartz.
So I'm sorry, Sarah Lambert, what's the APD? I don't know what that is, or I'm just not writing anything.
Seniors, basically seniors and disabled services. So APD, help me with the acronym. Aging and people with disabilities.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Sorry,
Yes.
I wasn't. And Shasta, I haven't looked at the APD database or anything like that. Did you look at that? Because I'm thinking we're probably roughly, we want roughly the same information that's available. But I'm not sure because I haven't looked at it.
Yeah, I also am familiar with like there's daycare slash preschool, a database on abuse investigations. And remember that these are all like substantiated cases of abuse. If
Right.
it's just an allegation, they're not in there. But yeah, so this is a database. Let me go find it and I'll put it in the chat so people can see what it looks like.
And there's a
It's
link.
linked here in the letter as well.
That's a Google Drive, I think.
Yeah.
That's the letter.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't have the letter in front of me right now. I put in my concerns already in ways of understanding the full movement. But the disparities of other, and I might be wrong. I don't know what foster homes, people, in foster homes and the client gets that information or not. I might be totally wrong. Maybe they don't deserve that information also. I don't know, abuse and other aspects, because I do find Special Olympic athletes, teammates, there's some consistent moments. And I'm not saying abuse, but it's, so sometimes when you move place to place, there's reasons why we don't know that sometimes that information also maybe, I don't know. So do we open up?
Yeah, so right now it seems like these abuse investigations are happening, the taxpayers are paying for them. When they're found to be substantiated, nobody really hears about it except for the people who are in government because it's in like that internal system. So it just seems like something that the public has a right to know. And so I hear your concerns, John. I'm not entirely sure I understand them, so I'm a written word kind of a person. So if you're able to like suggest specific edits to the wording that you'd like to do, I'm certainly willing to entertain that. But otherwise, I would make a motion.
I will support staff within the county or the right movements and ways of it being council representative, than just on the side making my own opinion. So is it possible that I can't, even though I'm a member of the council, put those concerns in and then make a draft, or do we have to be as a council in the ways of that type of voice?
Well, I think you can all give input on the draft and then at some point would want to vote on the next step.
Okay, well, I did put some input.
But
Officially.
you want some assistance putting that in writing?
In writing, yeah, in written form, in ways to do that. Do we need a vote for that? So I'm not breaking any protocol?
I think so.
Okay, awesome. So I'll try to update Sasha in a week or two, give or take, the session. In ways of, we're doing what we're doing this week and next week. And I will do my best to contact the county on that, and we can absolutely go through that process within November, December, in a way that whatever direction we want to go with the AG, the Attorney General or Department of Justice and, other chairs and co-chairs of certain other committees. That sound doable? And then depending on the versions, we will vote for it next month.
Yeah, I guess I would just like to express my frustration that I think I sent this out in July. So if you had edits, we had time to do this before. And I was hoping that we would actually get it out today so that we could start moving on this.
Well, we can still,
I just have to say that.
Even what I've heard in committee meetings in foster home and other work that we do outside. And we can still do that at Clackamas County between the next legislative session.
Sarah, did you have something to say?
I just had a question, Shasta, when we approved to move forward and talk to the other counties, were you wanting to invite them to collaborate on the draft or to approve the draft that we have approved?
Yeah, so I would just pass it around as a sign-on letter. If people, they would just vote wholesale. If they want to sign it, then they'd sign it. If they don't want to sign it, they don't sign it. It wouldn't be a let's all edit it over and over again.
And how would they approve of the letter to sign? Go to each county meeting or just do it on the side?
I mean, you would just email it to them and then they would bring it up as a motion. You know, a council member would bring it up as a motion and they would decide whether or not to sign it.
All right, thank you. I'll definitely work on my version and ways of hopefully getting into rules on that. Sasha, you can call for a motion if you want. I just wish that at least for the self-advocate side, they too can get the information and how to move forward within that language. I don't hear any motion.
Sarah.
Sarah raised her hand.
Short, please go.
John, when you say you'd like to get the information out to self-advocates, how do you recommend doing that? And
The concern that you guys have is what I have too. And it's not being explicit in that language within these drafts. And that's something that's very hard because in the field, we're conditioned that only voices can be making those type of decisions, or certain populations, definitely young adults and others. For me, I would like to learn where these people live in some ways and where some of the abuse is happening. So I don't choose Multnomah County because I'm on a HUD list or some other type of list and get shit, slammed into that type of home in ways of not knowing that information. So for me, I'm trying to figure out beyond just, beyond just the parents who are trying to find that and the abuse, motion or concept that's happening within foster homes and other voices. So that's where I'm trying to get to on that, Sarah. And it's very hard to communicate because that's the culture that we're in many ways. We're groomed in other ways or mentored by other ways. And that's where I'm trying to figure out how we can make those decisions on the, foster homes. Right now, I'm not considered foster homes in ways of that. But I should also know that information also in ways of certain things. But then I can also see the county side and wanting to protect, the residents who may have been, been abused or not abused, or been abusive and been not abusive. So it's very complicated right now, and that's why I would like, a couple of weeks to figure that out in ways, and now hearing it in public forum rather than just acting as council members on the side. And now I have an idea of where we want to go and how we move forward, and I can hopefully gain, okay, yes, parent and other people can make this decision by law at the county side, and as a client, there's no client voice that I remember seeing, and I might be wrong because I have to see so many priorities, but I do know there is a foster group, abuse, certain concepts out there and trying to, push forward also. So I do know how important it is. Hopefully looking at the camera, that Clackamas County voices be heard, but I also don't want the danger of other counties breaking their council rules in ways that they too might be in jeopardy also. And so I don't mind if we have a county to county relationship within councils and making their own council and other ideas and concepts. But I would like to know the process of that also, as this is the first time that we're signing off something like this in ways that we build for the future, in ways that other groups may or may not be included in other spaces. So that too is very important to me as a self-advocate, in ways that we follow and implement those mission statements from other organizations. So I know I'm going deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole, but that's important to me as we go through this process. So the approval process, once we give it to the legislators and to other aspects, making legislative concept for 2025 or 26, or even this year, depending on, what size, we have that voice also be heard within the county voice. And that's the best I can do and please for self-advocates within the county board, because this is the only opportunity that self-advocates can really talk to the county leads here. And so that's why, people, have other options in the past. And now, they're moving forward, but I just need to make sure that I understand we too have the opportunity. And if it's not what OAR is preventing us that. And of course, I want to know abuse from foster homes and other systems, but it depends on what direction we take it. if it's for the county, which we're advisory to Clackamas County, or if it's, or if it's, for a whole other, movement within, within the honor that we have to serve this position.
I
Jen?
I think it's very valuable to have Washington County or Multnomah County or, any county that says, yes, we want to approve this as well. Because it just adds more weight when it's taken to the state level. But I agree, John, yes, to hear self-advocate voices in this would be great to hear how, because as a parent, of course, my biggest fear is that my child will be placed somewhere after I'm gone. That's, I don't have any control over that, but anyway, that should be placed somewhere and suffer abuse. But I'm not her. She's her, her own self-advocate and all of that. So obviously we want to protect the self-advocates as well. In terms of, I thought you said, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought you said protecting the names of people who have been abused. I would absolutely not expect those to be in anything that anyone would have access to.
No,
So
like I said, there's some people that need to be, the reasons why the department has to be quiet for at least on the client side in ways. And there's reasons why they have to be quiet on the other advocate side, in ways of finding a place. So it's just, I'm not looking for abusers. I'm trying to understand the reasoning between, keeping this information quiet. Because there's some providers are very quiet with people's names in ways that, it makes sense as a client, or a peer-to-peer, relationship, but not maybe on a guardianship relationship in certain aspects. So, it's just trying to get through that weed and understanding that, of course, I don't want an abuser to be, shunned and not told about. That's not my point. My point is there's a different relationship. And also, there was a group home situation where everyone thought they would do, the best thing for the children, for example, and do a new thing. It's an institution. And what I'm trying to point out to that is it's hard to communicate to those classes of people that what would happen when your kids die and what are their opinions when they die. And I don't feel like, in foster home abuse investigation, trying to find a home for, while you go through the process, I don't see that in the language that I can remember, and I apologize if it's in there, that I see in that direction. Chair Lambert? And I
just
hope
wanted
that,
to ask,
excuse me, I'm sorry, yeah, I hope this doesn't, even though I know this is in public, I hope that doesn't go into other research and other opinions within other staff around the state. Thank you. I know, like I said, I know it's YouTube, but it's hard to know where the information's going on both sides, if it's foster homes or even in this type of setting. Sorry, Sarah Lambert, for cutting you off.
Shasta, was there a legislative deadline that you were hoping to hit? Just so we have an idea of
It's
timeline.
passed. I mean, there's no chance for the 2025 session right now. Legislators have already decided what they want to do. This was really more of just, I mean, I feel like it's an administrative thing unless it costs money. It's just DOJ saying, oh, we already have this database. Let's add in these few more cases and homes and things. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be accused of not listening to self-advocate voices. And if you need to, have some more time to think about it, that's fine. So, I mean, I guess there's no reason to rush, but I'm disappointed. So I guess that's where this agenda item ends.
Like I said, I'm for it. I need more information and trying to process through this. And because we are finally having a meeting today in a way of talking about it. And I don't really like doing Google Drive because that's a public drive on personal devices in ways that can be searched by certain other people. I'm going to make mistakes, but I do not like how I do want the information from the city in ways of ways of communication. But the behind stuff, I still question the bylaws and how council members are supposed to act. And that's on me, not you guys might be able to do that, but my experience, these are the first times that we've had experiences. in these types of environments. And that's why we have a self-advocacy convention in ways that we can put in certain drafts at the county level to learn how to deal with these type of spaces. And that's why it's important to me to grow forward within this movement as a self-advocate. I'm not being accused of disaster. I am just trying to understand the positions that we're going through and who it's gonna go to. If it's gonna go to Colorado, Arizona, California, New York, and other spaces, we should be told at the Clackamas County level, and I hope we do. Within the Department of Justice of what Oregon gets to accomplish within this letter and how we move things forward, because it's a good move in many, many different concepts. And it's a good move in trying to get through this process, I think. And I'm talking as a self-advocate, not chair, because I do my best to be in the middle within this, and I will take a vote. But I will also push forward, and we also have to remember the governor's priorities on policy option points in ways that is due in January right now. And that too can be also other areas in different departments within Clackamas County, Washington County, and other voices that you may want to sign on to. So it's not just, this legislative session, it can also be for other concepts, but the council is for Clackamas County Advisory Council. And that's what I'm trying to figure out and try to cipher out, how we do state policy in front of a council policy. So, all right, what time is it?
Sarah.
I was just gonna say, not to interrupt you, John, but I want to be respectful of our guests, so we should move to the next topic.
Absolutely.
Before we move on, do you guys want to, so it sounds like John, you're gonna give whatever work with us on some edits.
Yeah.
That you would like after you review the letter that was written.
Exactly.
And then by next meeting, so October's meeting, you guys are gonna vote on where this gets sent to, is that correct? So maybe,
Yeah.
Others in the council want to have an idea of like where we want
That would
to
be
get that sent
great,
to,
then
so
we
that
can
y'all
prove
can
it up.
vote on it and get it moving.
Yeah.
Does that sound
absolutely.
like what we're suggesting?
Yeah, I mean, if it's ODDS or Department of Justice, that would be great if we have to approve that. In ways of knowing, the legislators, I think that's where we're going, or is that not, Sarah Schwartz?
Is there specific information you'd like to have, John? Is there anything I could help you
I
track
would like
down?
to know where it's gonna be sent. Rather than a blind copy going to everywhere and everything, I'm here for a Clackamas County advisory position. And I may misinterpret, I may make a stumble in my life, in certain ways. But I do my best not to put council stuff. I put concepts of like where I am in other organizations. In ways that I'm trying to figure out where we are in the movement, for example. And that's what's important to me in ways to try to figure out, are we here for Clackamas County? Or are we here for a broader cause in ways of making our own, state council in ways that Clackamas, Monoma, Washington, whatever is gonna happen in the future. And it could happen, there might be an OAR and certain other concepts. But I'd love to know where we're going if we're acting as members of Clackamas County or acting as members of certain other movements where I get confused about foster abuse, databases and certain other aspects in other conversation spaces, knowing that it's walked around with those concepts. And for me, it's a Clackamas County issue of where I need to know where to live and where the abuse is.
I think I understand the issue is that it's where we're bringing in other councils.
Exactly.
So that's where the issue is.
It's not the issue. I don't care, like I said, I don't care if it's been approved already, but there's no precedent or no bylaw behind it between both councils. Then there's something that I don't understand and I need further explanation on in ways that it's been done before and how it's been done before. And this does not sound like it's been done before, and that I know of, that Kim maybe can help us and give us more information. In ways that Donna Lisa, for example, does the policy on the behalf of the county.
I think the idea is that because it's a state website that houses these reports.
Yes.
That's why, yes, generally. What you guys will be advising on is county level, but because this is something that is offered statewide, I think there is.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get to the
The
end,
need for
and we're already way too late. But yeah, so yeah, I would like to motion on my own side and trying to point out the advocate's voice and finding the same information that's been pointed out on it and find the wording of it in ways that's still county appropriate. I think that would help me a lot in ways of trying to navigate towards this for 2026 and 2027 in ways of, in a couple of days or weeks, we have to go through what we do within other priorities of those topic points that's been pointed. Because like I said, I've always been on saying there's a difference of relationship with Don and Lisa than there is with other aspects of legislation and how we move forward that on behalf of Clackamas County. And Don and Lisa, again, is a policy representative for Clackamas County. And so that's just something that I like to in ways of business relationships to understand how the business side is also being taken care of in ways of the client also. We would like to get more information on our side and what may or may not should be our information also. I'm sorry to go forward too much on this on the advocate side, but it is something that's been on my mind many months. I mean, not many months. It's been since the case management conference, whenever that was, probably a month and a half ago. Something like that.
We can definitely set aside some time to meet,
That'll be great.
okay?
That'll be great.
And then we can talk about.
Because it's a good theory, in all points. But how does it affect Clackamas County? In ways of me being the client and getting that information.
So I would suggest we skip the annual planning and
Okay.
give our guests open floor.
Can you give us?
Can I
Yeah.
actually butt in for just a second?
Please,
If it would be okay, Amy, I would like in just like the 3 minutes to address the annual planning, only because we've talked about this several times and I would love to get something going. So correct me if it wouldn't be appropriate, but is there a way that council members could at least send 3 or 4 ideas via email to the group? Can we do that at all? About things you'd like to see over the next year so that we can at least start our minds, kind of turning on things that we can then address next month. That would be great. Oops, sorry.
That's a great idea, Sarah. So anybody that has ideas for the next year on what you'd like to see done on the council or some things that you'd like to get accomplished. You can send those to me and John and Sarah or the whole group, whatever your comfort level is.
Just that way, I think it would at least get the ball rolling and also allow us time to hear from our guests today. So that's what I'd love to see. Thank you.
Absolutely. I mean, I know one goal would be once we know the process, we would love to collaborate with other council. But I don't know if there is a process on that. So that will be a great goal and try to go through. All right, looks like.
Yeah, so we have, so we're gonna, are you good to?
Will we want to introduce our guest over here or and then if you have public comment?
I can wait. I think you're going to talk about a chat first.
Oh, no, you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay. My name's Chris Goff and I apologize for being late. My son's bus was late, so it kind of threw everything into a tailspin, but I live in Milwaukee. Now I used to live in Happy Valley and I have a daughter who is 21 with, she's IDD. And then I have a son that's 17 who is on the autism spectrum and has ADHD. I'm very involved with Special Olympics. I'm also founder of a newly formed nonprofit called Live with Purpose. And it's we are trying to develop activities for youth and adult, but mainly high school through adults with any type of diverse ability.
And you guys came to our DD.
Yes,
Yeah, I made copies for you.
She looks.
Oh, no, that was one of our board members.
Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't
Oh, yeah,
there.
the
I
board
can't
member.
remember. I had something else going on and then, yeah. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Did we get everybody who popped in last minute a chance to introduce themselves?
I think it was just this one. Sorry, did anyone pop up
I think some of
online?
our members.
I think we have Sandy did.
Okay, Sandy, I'm so sorry about that. Unintended. Sandy, would you like to introduce yourself or have public comment?
Sure. My name is Sandy Browning. I'm the mom of a 24-year-old with developmental disabilities and kind of learning about the resources available to him and was recommended I join and listen in. So thank you.
Thank you for popping in. Would you want any public comment or just introduction?
No, thank you.
Okay, awesome.
I'm gonna read, Jen had a comment. She said, I don't really have any public comment. I just wanted to attend to see what the group was about. Thank you all for the work that you're doing. I hope to attend this meeting again. Oh, you are still here. I think earlier you asked about the, when we open recruitment. So we just closed it. Our bylaws, which is the rules that we follow, say that we can have up to 18 members. So I think we're going to bring in the members that we just recruited, and then we're going to be at 7, yes, I think 11. So we'll probably end up opening recruitment again in the beginning part of next year, I would imagine. And I will keep everybody on here posted on that.
Any other follow-up? I think on my side, Jen, is the equity part, once we get more numbers, into it. In ways of how we had that discussion in the beginning of how we can boost up certain equity points and certain other aspects within the mission statement that we have so far. Maybe work groups or other ideas. Mr. Research student or doctor or master student?
Oh, I'm actually I'm still a undergrad. I'm just a non-traditional student going back to
No,
school.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
What made you, if you want, it is public, so you say it's not my business, but what made you interested?
Well, I'm in an intro to public policy class right now,
Yeah.
and this is kind of my first time getting into the whole public policy stuff.
Beyond partners in policy making, eh?
Yeah.
Doing it the education credit
Yeah,
way.
exactly. So one of my assignments is to attend a live public policy event, and I believe I'm going to be doing a project in about 4 weeks on it.
Good
So
luck on it.
yeah, I think I'd like to come to the next meeting if possible.
Yeah, if you have, like I said, you have that white paper ready, I'm all ready. Trying to figure out, if it's the provider crisis or any other issues in life.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, great to meet you.
Hey, great to meet
You're
you.
just here to be here to see what happens later in life.
Yeah, this is very interesting, actually.
Yeah, this is
You know,
great.
you guys are doing amazing work and,
Yeah.
wish I would have known more about you,
Yeah.
earlier, but.
We can always talk about the webpage later, but we're doing the best we can to kick out policies, I think.
We are working on it.
We are working on it. All right, what time is it so I don't go over under?
Okay, does anybody else from the public want to have any ideas, thoughts, or anything they wanted to share, or questions that they didn't get to ask based on anything that you've heard today? Want to make sure we give you guys time to give feedback or thoughts.
I have a comment.
Yeah.
It's just a comment about the letter that's with the
Yeah.
abuse.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's, and my daughter lives with us, but eventually someday she'll want to be out on her own. So I just really like the fact that you'd be able to search that to see, if there's, but I'm hoping if a home had more than one instance that something would happen to it, like shut down or
It's not the
or
concept.
something, I don't know.
It's important to go forward. It's not the concept, it's just how are you navigating
Yeah.
towards that Clackamas County Advisory
Yeah.
and to other movements within that side that.
And I can see
And-
how bringing in other councils
And I think a lot.
from other counties at the state level, since it is a state database,
Yeah.
would make it have more weight and more
Yeah, give it a little bit
substance.
more, yeah.
Yeah.
And again, on my side,
Yeah.
is that, when you have people who want to build their own home and everything for people with disabilities, what's gonna happen when they die? We are the ones that have to find out how to navigate the system ourselves within it too, so it's that type of understanding while we go through these concepts. And realizing that, it's beyond just one movement and one report in quality management and other ideas as we move forward, for example, from the top down of OHA, ODHS and ODDS, so, yep. Thank you very much, and like I said, it's a good policy, just trying to figure out where to go on it.
Yeah.
At least for Clackamas County.
Right.
Well, I was just thinking, that, expressing, bringing up something that I think probably other, other councils would probably think that it would be a good idea to bring this up to the legislature as well. And I was thinking that definitely there needs to be probably the voice of self-advocates from the beginning. But definitely when it comes to like when they start looking at policy, right? Like when they
hold the
that's-
bill concepts.
Yeah, and that's when we would be looking at like, how do people access the information? How do people find that this is available to them? All the things that would eventually have to be looked at. I think it would be really important to have self-advocates at the table, definitely, so.
Task force, roundtable discussions, other places and ways of that conversation starters to end, or did you mean the concept itself? Well, it becomes a bill.
Well, I was meaning that it may even be worth just adding that sentiment in the letter of like, that would definitely be something that we would expect to happen.
For the
Yes,
county.
I wonder if that might be, that might be. A fairly simple enough addition, but also, to get that point across.
Yeah. All right. Sarah Schwartz.
So are you thinking, I see that as more like trainings after, after the process, so put in the desire to have it be completely accessible, obviously, that the information can be accessed by anyone. But then I see the self-advocate sort of on the tail end, and not necessarily tail end, but you know what I mean, later on in the process when it's approved and God willing, it goes through and everything and it's initiated, then the whole training idea of bringing in whatever's needed, roundtable discussions, all of that on how to use the system.
That's pre-legislation concepts in ways of financing and others, the roundtables and other places. So that's where there are advocates out there, Sarah, that are able to be up to table before the legislation concepts coming. Am I reading that wrong, Brooke, in the ways of your concepts, or you're thinking post plan in ways of that concept inclusion?
No, you've got me right.
I guess I have a sense of urgency at this point. I know Shasta said it won't be on like the legislative agenda for next year, but if it is just pardon, say again?
It could be maybe tonight. So if you want a motion for a vote, I would have to abstain because, of not knowing what direction. But you could call for a vote tonight, and most likely it's up to Sasha and others in the direction on wanting to move forward that policy point, knowing that even if tonight was approved as pre-planned and for legislative direction, it sounded like, so you can do the motions if you want, Lisa.
I'm sharing with Sarah I don't want to delay this because now it's known there's no access to know who or where there is someone who has been brought into question. And that feels, for Clackamas County people, community members, and then we're going to talk about other counties, that feels scary to me. And so, and I don't feel like this is a legislative concept. Maybe I completely am out to lunch on that. I feel like this is a movement towards getting a larger coalition of like-minded groups to start talking about having our population included in a system that already exists. And am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, especially since there's already an elder database.
Yeah. So I would like a motion, and I actually would like to make a motion right now today, if we could move forward in maybe even just remotely starting a coalition of some sort to keep this train going, specific to the letter.
All right. Well, I'm all for coalition in ways of overtaking advisory councils and other things too. So, I mean, they'll have their own bylaws and their own rules.
Yeah.
Okay, so your motion for a new coalition in ways that multi-counties can be together in ways to make policy points for the future of the county and the state. Is that what I'm hearing, right, Lisa?
My motion is specific to the letter that was created for our council by Shasta, and it is to take that letter and share it with other councils in other counties
Okay.
and start asking, would you like to join a coalition? What do you think of the letter? Would you sign on?
Mm-hmm.
That's my motion.
And I would second that. Because you should have multi-community communication, but we have not motioned to take this to other people yet. So I would wonder, you know, where the direction of different counties would go and how they would like to build and, you know, put their opinions around the state. I don't know what Clackamas County has, but you know, it would be interesting in ways as a policy.
I think this decision is the council's decision, and if it's not been done before, we will see where it goes, so.
Is there a
I
motion
agree.
for a vote on that? Is there a motion for a vote?
I motion to vote.
Okay, Sarah Lambert, motion vote. Is there a second for that?
Second.
Okay. So as I would love to see multi-county stuff for me, biased and all, well, you know, it would be interesting how the county reacts.
So you guys voting to share the letter with other counties?
County,
Okay, as it's written?
Yeah.
Okay. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I should have put all this stuff put in. I would love to see it when the final draft comes from Clackamas County. I would love to go on my.
Well, it's
No,
not
we're not-
Clackamas
that's not our-
County's
we're
draft,
not-
it's
we're not
the
touching that
council's draft.
All right.
So.
You guys' letter.
No, it's
And the
already been
draft
voted.
is in
It's
your
already been
email.
voted. It's already been voted.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. We get to
So
the.
I'll add draft in big letters to the top of it. You know, if we're sharing it in draft form, that is an opportunity to more like do edits and stuff, but I am not volunteering for that role. So I know how hard it is to like get a bunch of people to collaborate and agree on language. So
So is there a person like
anyway.
on the county for council to do this type of thing? Wait, there's
This
someone.
would be,
This
this
would
would be
be
your
on you all.
guys'.
This is like, yeah.
letter.
All right, well,
So some.
I mean, you could, I mean,
Agree to
it's-
take the lead.
It sounded like you guys were in agreement that this letter is fine as presented. So you wouldn't necessarily have to put draft on it.
yeah, we've already approved it.
Yeah, I would
We have
prefer
not
not to draft it. Yeah.
I put
So
my-
I would make a motion to approve it. We have not approved it yet. Now we're just saying that we'll share it in draft form with other counties.
That's clear as well in ways that I would love to have a motion later on, if possible, Sasha, but I understand the concept can still give to county. It sounds like we've already voted for that, right? Yeah, and the council did.
Yeah, I think my personal opinion is that it's cleaner if it's something that we've already signed as the council. This is our
Mhm.
letter. We can pass it around and say, hey, do you want to sign on? Whereas now we're kind of sharing a work product, and a
Right.
work product is not a final sign-on letter. So even if they then took it to their councils, they couldn't really sign on to it yet because it's not final.
Mhm.
Can I amend my previous motion? Does that sound
I
I think you can
we
make
just
a
make new
second
motion.
one.
okay? I make a second motion to not make this an edit copy for input from other councils, but to share this as a sign-on letter.
But not approved from Clackamas County yet.
We can't,
We're not
we're not approving
approving-
it. It's
This
not.
is a
some-
council.
yeah, this is your
approval.
Yeah,
guys'.
and it,
I can't approve until final draft is finally made outside of this input.
This
but-
is-
They're
we don't-
proposing this draft be final.
No, and I, right now, I would have to abstain from that for now, because the voice of myself does not feel like it's in it, but I don't mind it shared to other counties in ways that we can prove, you know, prove the concept and be forward moving within that county to county collaboration within these types of motions. So sounds like I'm abstaining.
Let the rest of the council decide.
Second the motion.
do we have to make a motion to vote? No, okay, sorry.
So I heard one motion for the idea in ways of Sasha wording. Do I hear a second?
Stay second.
Yeah, Colleen second.
So we already had a
Colleen second.
discussion, so a motion for the vote, not the motion for the vote, right?
Yep.
All right, vote, who votes aye, and who votes aye?
1, 2, 3, 4. That's,
That's majority.
mhm. Yep.
And I would,
That's-
I would push myself abstain until final language between the counties agreements and stuff, so.
We're not gonna touch the letter.
Yeah, but I would like on the record, abstain. So because, I would like to have no problem going county to county. But I do have issues of certain voices within that. All right, so Sasha, sounds like that the council approved the letter for foster homes. And sending it to who you need to send it to and what we approved on.
Great. I will make a PDF version of this letter, and then folks can just kind of send it around. I've recently seen like a form, a Google form where you can like say that you want to sign on, but I know there's a little bit of trepidation with the Google things, so maybe we can just I don't know, like they can pass on their yes, we all voted as a council, and we can just add them as that comes along. We do also still need to decide as a council who we're sending it to exactly. So maybe that can be something, because I know we're out of time. We can be thinking about what we want to do as the next step.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you very much. I hope I navigated that it was as finally as I can.
Thank you, John, for your input.
Yeah.
So we can put this, we'll put some time on here at the next meeting to maybe briefly discuss where it's going next. If that sounds right, is that?
Sounds like we'd like to know what departments are they going to,
Mhm.
what committees they're going to, or, if it's, roundtables or, other places where we put our voices in, task force and others, and other ideas within, the governor's office, if it's human services, or if it's gonna be OHA, ODHS, ODDS, and the counties. And what departments do you guys have in your system too? Am I wrong on that? For next time? I'm naming as many departments as possible where the letters are.
Well, I feel like this is a state level request.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it doesn't exist at the county, but it exists at a state level. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So, yeah, that'll be great.
Shasta, I just wanted to say really quick, and I know this is probably a little late to it, but I wanted just to make sure that we didn't miss anybody in the letter, in the ask, because I know it just says long-term care facilities, and so I'm just they might even ask, what does that look like? All individuals that are getting Medicaid services or only long-term care facilities, because there's a lot of different avenues where people receive services where abuse can happen. And so I just wanted to make sure we weren't missing anything in the letter. And so I'm sure it's a little late for that, but that was just my only concern, is I don't want the legislature to think it's too generalized and then people get missed, or they might ask you to be more specific. I'm not sure.
Okay, so if I'm understanding right, we're talking about where it says it's our understanding that DD system abuse investigators use the same centralized abuse management system. Please allocate resources swiftly to incorporating these backend systems so that the information can be publicly available in cases of IDD abuse as well. So, I mean, I think it would apply to any like whatever the scope of work or the jurisdiction of those DD abuse investigators is, that's what would be included in this.
Okay. Yeah,
And
I
then-
was just, it says this, where it seems like a reasonable addition to the abuse complaints database for licensed long-term care settings. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't gonna leave anybody out. That was just my concern. Just
Yeah,
making sure that
I
we
mean,
address as many individuals in settings as we can.
right, because I think that's why it's called that now, is because it's excluding other folks, but if you have suggestions of like what specific language could be added in there, we can definitely amend this at the next meeting.
And I think another thing that makes me a little wondering in how we navigate this in the conversation space is when we bring guests in, are we questioning, I get we have to be advocates. You know, we have to push certain movements on our own and certain aspects, but I don't want to fear guests in coming in if they're always gonna be, you know, the council's gonna go to the thing. We have to do it, and we did it today, so, you know, but I just want to make sure that, you know, that we can move forward with other people coming in to speak also. And I'm not saying that we did anything wrong, I'm just saying I hope that we can bring other people in with welcomes rather than just only certain points only. So, I mean, I don't know, I'm not saying no to this, but I'm just saying, I hope that we can move forward with Clackamas County and the council. Within, you know, other people who want to be coming in, rather than just a big issue that we do, it's a big issue, we have to foster home, knowing abuse, it's a big issue, so. Thank you very much for your time and efforts in that conversation space, I'm happy that, you know, something got moved. And we'll see what the council does on that and how it moves forward statewide. All right, I'm sorry for going on the annual plan, but I would love some examples of what an annual plan looks like in other councils for myself. As you know, self-advocate side. And I would love, can't wait for next month's meeting between the breaks.
Okay.
And we'll need to close out.
Amy has a sample.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple.
Any other questions on next month's meeting, the way that we're trying to make the agenda a little bit right now? Okay, thank you very much for your expertise and time. I truly appreciate you guys coming to the meeting today. I'm happy we talked about some difficult issues in ways that, you know, culture can only allow us to where we are and how we move forward within the other concepts and ideas. So I truly am thankful and I hope the best, and we'll see what happens in the month ahead as we move forward these types of communication. Yeah, anyone want a
Thank you.
motion to, anyone want a
Thank you,
motion?
everyone.
Anyone want a motion to exit the meeting?
A motion
Motion?
to exit the meeting.
All right, bye-bye. All right, have a good one, guys.
Goodbye.
Have a
Thank you.
nice night, everybody.
Bye. Thanks
All
for
of you.
coming.
Good luck tomorrow, everybody.
Yeah.
See you later.
Bye-bye.